All right, I'm gonna be working with Atlas to desensitize him to the girth. He's already had the surcingle on him, but now I'm gonna start using the girth of the surcingle and touching his belly with it and start bringing it underneath him. So I'm just getting him to side pass up to the fence just like he does regularly and reward him for that. And then I'll get the surcingle out and we'll just kind of review a bit and then work on the girthing. So he came up while this girth or the surcingle was on the panel, so he came up to it, so that's a good sign. He wasn't afraid or spooking at it. And then he's standing fine while I put it on, so all that previous lessons that we've done with the surcingle have stayed, and he's desensitized to it. He's not worried about it. He's not moving his head. He's not moving his feet. So he's being pretty relaxed and letting me kind of move this all over him. And I'm kind of just being not rough with it, but not super specific. Like I want it, I don't mind if it hits the panel there, if it's hanging off the side, like making noise. I want all of that to happen because I want him to get used to that. All right, I had to get some more treats. Go ahead and do a bit more desensitizing here. And then so I'm getting him used to just that girth kind of swinging around next to him. So once I get on his back, I'm just clicking and feeding him here for that. And I just want every step of the process to be positive. So up until then, he'd only seen like the surcingle on his back, and then I slowly kind of let the girth come down. So I'm just breaking it into pieces. I'm just gonna do the same thing from this other side. Kind of toss that surcingle on there. So like we had it was like folded over at first, and then now I have like the girth's kind of on this side of the panel, and then I'll shove the girth through and it's kind of hanging at his side, and that could be scary for a lot of horses. So it's just all different things, like different things that the girth could do in movements and sound. I'm getting him used to all of those things so that once I'm ready to tighten it, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I kind of give him a moment, take it off. He's looking at me, he's engaged, and then I can toss it on him and he's not too worried about that. Because he didn't move his head at all, he's not tense in his body. I'd like his neck to be a little bit more relaxed, but it's not too bad. Like there's no change in his body language, so he's not super worried about the surcingle. And it's kind of banging on the panel and making some noise, so that's good for him to just get used to as well, even though that's not really going to happen like every day when I'm working with the horse eventually once he's trained, but it's a good thing to just kind of get out of the way now and just kind of just have him used to noises that might happen. So now I'm going to just switch it up. Instead of having the girth next to me, I'm going to have it on the outside. So that could be another scary thing because he could see me out of one eye and now he's seeing the girth out of the other eye. So that could be a little scary versus when I started off, the girth and myself were both in that left eye. So now he's seeing two things out of two different eyes. I'm just kind of shake it around a little bit. I'm gonna click him, feed him. So those are important steps as well. And that's why I kind of broke it down like that. So I'm gonna use my crop. So my crop is my target. He knows how to follow it. He's not afraid of it. If your horse is afraid of any of those things, I would get that out of the way first. So I went to take it off and he wanted to touch it with nose. So I'm going to be like, that's fine. I'll reward that. I'm not going to reward it every time because I don't want it to become a habit. I take it off and he moves to go target it. But just in this beginning phase, so he builds confidence with just having the surcingle around him. So as far as the whip, he already knows what it is. It's not a whip, it's a target. I don't use it for whipping, I use it for targeting. So you might have to build up that association first if your horse has a poor association with crops, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to use that whip as my extension of my arm, pull the girth toward me, it's going to touch his belly, I'm going to click and feed, and I'm going to let go. And then we're going to repeat, just so I'm not up in there and, getting in the way with his legs and stuff. I don't want my arm underneath him. He gets scared and wants to kick out. And I know the girth is not laying where it's gonna when I start to girth it up. I'm okay with that. I want him to feel it all over his belly, and it's not a big deal before I start actually making more pressure on it. So I'm just gonna fix it up real quick here because he's a pretty little guy, so I have to adjust it from using it on the other horses. I had it up too high, I think. It wasn't fitting all the way, but try and get him back into position and then do a little bit more. So I assumed that it would need to be shorter, but it wasn't reaching all the way, so I had to fix it. No big deal, because now we can just practice a little bit more of putting it on his back, and then go ahead and get the girth again. I'm gonna try and bring it toward myself. I'm keeping an eye on his hind legs, making sure he's okay, and then I just grasp it in my left hand, and it touches his belly a little further forward. I'm gonna click and reward. So that looked really, really good for his first time, like feeling a girth on his belly. And then he's letting me like put the girth in front of him, and he's not getting too worried. His attention's on it. He's targeting it though, and that went really well for his first girthing experience.